You hear that?
You're inviting demons to take control of you, not just speak through your vocal cords. They believe that aliens are the one who are going to save humanity.
Are we on the brink of a major deception, an alien deception? Well, it certainly feels that way, and now with this new movie coming out, Disclosure Day, directed by Steven Spielberg, coming out in June, a lot of people are talking about how this is just the government's latest attempt to try to condition people for something that they know that's already coming, some sort of alien encounter. Now, I don't know if that's true, but when you watch the trailer, there's something different about this movie, something that points to a reality that many Christians, many of us already know, that these aliens, they are not from another planetary system. They're not made of matter. In fact, they are demonic entities. And this movie coming out in June, I believe, is going to bring this idea to the masses, but in a deceptive way that twists the truth to likely depict religion, specifically Christianity, as the source of all of our problems, and that these aliens will be our saviors, pushing a rapidly growing lie among New Age Gnostic religions that I believe will be part of the end times deception. Why do I think this? Well, this trailer right here, I'm going to show you a couple of clues. And then after that, what I really want to talk about today is how can we know if these aliens are truly demonic? And if so, what are the end times implications? I'm going to show you a clip of astrophysicist and Christian apologist Hugh Ross explaining what these entities are. And then I'm going to show you a clip of former Satanist pastor turned Christian teacher and author Billy Crone, who discusses the end times implications. And then please stick around because we're going to look at a government whistleblower's very own words, stating that aliens are not only among us, but they're interbreeding with humans. Are you kidding me? What does that sound? I mean, have we heard that before? Right? Nephilim in the Bible, Genesis 6. This is crazy stuff. So let's take a quick look at a couple of short clips, because I don't want to get copyrighted, of Disclosure Day. And I'm going to point out two things that I think reveal this movie is completely different than other alien movies, and it points to a reality, like I said before, that I think Christians, many of us, already know.
If someone showed you, proved it to you, would that frighten you?
Why show sacred Christian images in the first 5-10 seconds of your trailer? This is a massive part of it, and I think it's part of the deception. But what's really interesting is this.
Good morning, Kansas.
So this is Emily Blunt. She's a meteorologist, and she's about to speak live on air, and the aliens seem to take over her body, possess her, and she starts speaking, but listen to the way she speaks. Do you hear that clicking? Do you hear that sort of guttural sound? My first thought was Jurassic Park. It sounded a lot like velociraptors, but then I came across this YouTube channel called Strange Normal, I believe their name is, and he identifies exactly what this sound is, and it's absolutely terrifying.
Kind of weird, but what I thought was really fascinating is that this whole clicking thing is based on something we talk about quite a bit on this channel, which is the raw material.
Everyone in the group except me began to make strange noises with their mouths.
Obviously, it's written by a cult idea or a Gnostic gospel of sorts, but I thought it'd be interesting to really go over this and understanding of tongues as well.
So he goes into and talks a lot about whoever wrote this raw material, obviously of the occult, them doing studies and trying to speak with these entities that they call aliens. But I'm going to show you a quick clip of somebody who actually claims to be taken over, their voice, their body being taken over by one of these alien forces.
Full name is Daryl Atkin, but he channels some entity called Basher, which I think is another heathen deity, honestly. But he does this exact same thing before he goes and starts allowing this thing to perfectly possess him. This isn't disturbing, but it kind of is when you realize that human beings can be used this way and played like a flute. Watch this.
And we know this.
once again, thank you for being here. Please have a good time. I will see you later.
They're all happy. You hear that? It's almost like the entity is trying to, it's like inhabiting the body, and it's like tuning, if you will, tuning the body so that it can start to vocalize. Listen.
Say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. All right. Such a lively crowd. But in actual fact, such a deadly crowd. And the reason we say this is because you are all actually already dead. Understand that what we mean is that your natural state is of spirit.
Incorrect.
Okay, so we have these UFO cults speaking to what they believe to be an alien race with some kind of knowledge or insight that will save us from ourselves. And we're going to get into where this leads in a bit, but first I want to take you to Hugh Ross, who has studied alien phenomena from a scientific point of view, and he believes he can confirm what these aliens actually are. Let's take a look.
University where I served, they said, you have to handle all the UFO reports. So, and about 99% of what people would report to me as UFOs, I could explain as natural phenomena, a hoax, or secret government military activity. But there's a 1% residual that falls in a different category. And these would be UFO phenomena that observers report violating the laws of physics. On the other hand, they leave evidence indicating that they're real phenomena. And that, I think, explains why you have a lot of scientists and skeptics saying this doesn't exist, because they come from a worldview that doesn't permit the existence of non-physical reality. But as a Christian, as a believer in the inerrancy of the Bible, I do believe in the existence of non-physical reality. Because the Bible tells us God created two different species of intelligent life, one that's constrained by the physics of the universe and one that is not. And we're talking about humans that are indeed constrained by the dimensions and laws of physics of the universe, and angels who are not. And these angels live in a different dimensional realm, but God has given them the power to come in temporarily into our realm. So I think that's where that 1% residual falls.
So he's taking this from an astrophysicist point of view, also a Christian apologist, but he's worked with major educational institutions to study these phenomena, and he has determined that 1% of them are, in fact, from another dimension. Okay. He goes on to talk about how you see a rise in these manifestations in people in regions where there's a lot of occult activity. Let's go on. Let's take a look at another short clip of him.
So for all these UFO cults, and some communicate. And
it sounds like automatic writing, by the way. That sounds similar to what it is.
It's automatic writing, and it's extensive. I mean, probably the most dramatic example would be a big book, the Urantia book. It's kind of the Bible for all these UFO cults. And some editions run 4,000 pages. The entire book was communicated through automatic writing. But what's interesting about the Urantia book, about a third of its content denies the deity of Jesus Christ. So there, I think you can see the deceptive motivation behind this UFO phenomena.
These demonic forces, these occult activities are always attacking the deity of Christ Christianity, and it all comes from this Gnostic worldview. Okay, so what are the implications of this? Okay, so if these aliens do exist and they are demons, what are the implications for us here living in the end times, right? Okay, so now we go to Billy Crone. Remember, I told you he's a former satanic pastor, messed up in the New Age movements, occultism, now turned Christian author and teacher. Listen to him.
I've been to the UFO conferences, the abduction meetings, and things of that nature. I'm very familiar with this topic. But it was only after I got saved and cried out to Jesus Christ that, number one, I got delivered from demonic possession, because that's what these things you're doing. You're inviting demons to take control of you, not just speak through your vocal cords. But after that, I began to read the Bible and go I learned about this thing called the Rapture. And it blew me away. I was a brand new Christian, first year in Bible college. I never heard anything about the rapture, so I began to learn about just the basics of Bible prophecy, and that at one point, Jesus Christ is going to come and snatch away, the word harpazo, which literally means to abduct. He's going to come and abduct his church prior to the 7-year tribulation. And all of a sudden, a light bulb goes off in my head and go, wait a second. I was still a brand new Christian. I'm going, wait, that's what the aliens, the space brothers, were trying to explain away. And which, by the way, is an interesting side note, Pastor Jimmy. You know the position that they're desperately trying to explain away?
What?
It ain't post-trib. It ain't mid-trib. It's not pre-wrath. It's pre-trib, right? They're trying to explain that away. That for some reason, before the earth goes into a time of great calamity, you're going to see the disappearance of millions of people across the world. But don't worry. Don't even think about the rapture.
This is a common theme among New Age believers, that there's going to be some sort of event where some people are going to just massively disappear, right? Some call it I believe the 5D shift, where a shift in consciousness will separate people from different realities. The people who aren't quite ready to move to the new consciousness are going to be sort of shifted out of the way for a while, and then it'll come back. So there's this deception going, why does all of this stuff mirror what's in the Bible? Okay, he's going to continue.
It was the aliens who came and got them.
And that's what they told you.
That's what, and I still got the stuff in my library. I've got, and that's what I said, research, hey, we'll prove it to you. This is not a wacky conspiracy theory. I was in that camp. I was involved with this stuff. This is no joke. And what they're doing is they're deceiving the planet for two things. Number one, they're going to become the perfect excuse to explain away the rapture of the church. Number two, they're going to deceive people who are left behind thinking it's a great thing.
Yeah.
That you're a chosen one. Yeah. A great utopia can now be unleashed when these troublemakers have disappeared. And we're here.
When they say peace and safety, sudden destruction will come upon them.
We're here to help build this new utopia. It's all a lie.
So, Billy, how prevalent is this? Because I heard this was years ago, that in Europe, more people believe in UFOs than believe in God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is pretty prevalent.
Yeah. Well, even here in America. In fact, I challenge audiences all the time, Pastor Jimmy.
That is a fact. Let me show you something really quick. Sorry for the terrible view, but half of Americans believe aliens have visited Earth. Not just that they believe in aliens, they believe they visited Earth. Look at this. I have to highlight it because it's... Okay, so new government polling found that 56% of Americans believe aliens definitely or probably exist, more than the shares of Americans who believe Bigfoot. Yeah, okay, so look at this. Democrats are more likely to believe in aliens than Republicans. Now, people choose their political affiliations for many reasons, but mostly Republicans are conservatives, evangelical Christians, right? They have belief, they have a worldview of the afterlife. But Democrats are largely godless. Okay? You can hate me for that. And so they're looking for something, another purpose. They're more likely to believe that aliens have visited Earth. But as you know, we don't believe that these are beings coming from another part of the universe, but maybe from another dimension, right? Okay, so then you also have this. Most Americans say they have experienced at least one paranormal event. That is crazy. How many? 60% of Americans say they have had at least one of 13 paranormal experiences. What does this show you? I think this shows that people are even more today susceptible to the demonic forces in our world because they're godless, because they don't follow Christ. They don't have the Holy Spirit. They're easily susceptible to these interactions with these beings. And it's growing. It's rising. That's why it's come to the cultural forefront. And Hollywood is beefing it up more. And people are talking about it, everywhere on social media. Congressional hearings are being held on it. So you have this deception. I believe it's coming. Okay, back to Billy Crone really quick.
As an adult or older adult, I challenge you. Okay, it might sound kind of weird to, hey, let's talk about UFOs and aliens. Breathe this topic to your kids, your grandkids, neighbors, and coworkers, and you will be utterly shocked at how many have bought into this lie. They totally believe it. And that's because we've been indoctrinated with this lie for decades now, especially now with the help of Hollywood. Hollywood's been pushing this since the 50s, the alien from outer space, all that stuff. But now it's on steroids with modern CGI technology. And it isn't just Star Trek. That was one of the beginnings, but then it went to Star Wars and then, of course, reboot. But then it's all the Marvel movies and all this stuff. It's all, and I mean, it's to the point where we're inundated with this everywhere we go. And then you and I come up and say, hey, let's talk about the identity of what these critters really are. And they look at you and I like we're the alien.
Yeah.
Right. But everybody's been.
They deny the reality of God, yet they believe in these aliens. Because I'm telling you, there's a searching for a greater purpose that they can't find on Earth. So where do they look? To the stars, right? They're looking for some other purpose. And maybe aliens have that. No, maybe God himself didn't communicate with his humans, with those he created in his image. Maybe he didn't give them it. No, you have to find it on another planet. It's just mind-boggling to me that so many people deny God, but then they believe in so many of these myths of creatures living on other planets. And it's like, dude, the evidence is there. These are demonic forces. They're defying the laws of physics. Anyway.
Been indoctrinated in this, and you'd be surprised at how many people, and this is the danger, and we bring this out, it has become a replacement religion for Christianity. The bulk of people don't just believe in aliens. They believe that aliens are the one who are going to save humanity. Everybody realizes, especially the last several years, that something's wrong with the planet and we're headed towards a time of chaos and it ain't getting better. But they're being duped and thinking, oh, it's not going to be Jesus Christ that we need to turn to. It's the aliens. They're going to save here and save us and bring us into a time of utopia.
So you believe when the rapture happens, you believe pretty much concurrent with that, there's going to be a revelation of aliens.
Absolutely, because this is what they're saying. I got insider information, Pastor Jimmy. And again, we demonstrate this. Part of the New Age and the occult, this is what they teach. They literally teach that they can't pull off their utopia until those who are messing up the harmony of the earth, you know what the Bible calls that? Restraining influence.
That's exactly
the church, right?
Exactly
and that's their words. And then when we disappear, they appear. And then they supposedly are going to help mankind usher in utopia. Well, no, the Bible says that's the Antichrist kingdom, the 7-year tribulation, and you don't want to be around for that. But this is from their own camp. In fact, I'll just give you a couple easy quotes. We have a ton of quotes in there from supposed aliens speaking through people's vocal cords, which is...
Did we not just see that, right? Is not what Disclosure Day is about. And I'm going to back him up real quick after he makes some of these claims here. I'm going to just show you something quickly online, and then we'll get to that whistleblower who says that there are alien species on Earth interbreeding with humans. Not me, not my words.
Is demonic possession of this information. And they say, do not be surprised, not only that the earth is headed for a climatic change, which, by the way, of course, they don't say, oh, that's God's wrath coming to the planet. No. They say it's Mother Earth coming to cleanse herself, right? See, they always have their excuse to get you away from the truth. Yeah. But they says, but just before that, and again, it's the preacher position, they're always trying to explain away. Just before that, don't be, and this is a direct quote, don't be surprised when you see perhaps 20 million people leave the planet in one afternoon. Other people go even further, these channel messages from the space aliens.
20 million sounds like a lot, but it's really not when you have 7 billion people on the planet. It's kind of frightening because I believe there's like 2 billion, 2.5, maybe 3 billion people who claim to be Christian or Catholic, yet 20 million are the only ones that possibly could be raptured.
it would literally say that they call it the great evacuation, right? And they even pepper it with biblical terms to fool people. In the blinking of an eye, it's going to happen.
Wow.
And then they do two things. One, they say, the first phase, you're going to see people disappear. And then and that's the first lie. And it was the UFOs, the aliens. We beamed them up to our spaceships. The second lie is for those that are left behind, they says, and don't be concerned or alarmed if you're not a participant in this first phase. Your instructions will come later. Or they just flat out say, the reason why you've been left behind is because it's like a badge of honor. You're a chosen one. You've proven that you can go along with this great utopia. Those people that are holding things up, for their benefit, we got them, up, orbiting the planet. And it kind of like a detention center or re-education camp. And then we'll beam them down later, but don't worry about it,
It sounds like that 5D shift, where a lot of people say it's a shift in consciousness, and you'll have people living in another dimension. Okay, you think he's making all this stuff up, right? Well, let me show you something really interesting. So this is just one example, okay, of some of these new religions that have popped up, that have sprung out of occultism, out of Gnostic thinking, out of mysticism, okay? So this is the Aetherius Society, is a new religious movement founded by George King in the mid-1950s, okay? As the result of what King claimed were contacts with extraterrestrial intelligence, whom he referred to as cosmic masters. Okay, the main goal of the believers is to cooperate with these cosmic masters to help humanity solve its current earthly problems and advance into this new age. Now, why do they think that this stuff is true? Because they're being communicated with by demonic forces, okay? See, it's based in theosophy, okay? This is an esoteric type of religion established in the United States, 19th century. The Aetherius Society combines UFO claims, yoga, and ideas from various world religions, notably Hinduism, Buddhism, and Christianity. Okay, they put it all together. It's some truth mixed with the lie. But what I want to show you really quickly, in Aetherius Society teachings, various religious figures come from different planets, and throughout history, cosmic masters such as Buddha, Jesus, Lao Tzu have come to Earth to teach mankind the right way of living. Now, I don't want to get too much into Gnostic beliefs, but there's this idea that the God of our world, our Yahweh, is evil, right? They say he's an evil demiurge, and he's not the real God, right? So he came and he wanted to keep humanity from knowing the truth, and that Satan was actually the good guy because he revealed the true reality of our world, and that this reality is an evil world and we need to escape it. And we find that escape from within through secret knowledge, gnosis, right? It's crazy stuff. You guys should look it up and read into it. But their eschatology here, okay? King claimed to have been contacted by many aliens, including, I'm not going to try to pronounce them, and the Great White Brotherhood to spread a message to aid humanity. This is these demonic forces conditioning humankind to get ready for the final battle with Christ, so that they are deceived when the time comes. This message exalted the promising future humanity has, should earthlings turn to better ways of living, while warning of the possible consequences otherwise. King taught that humans had the choice of self-destruction or the enjoyment of a new age that was coming to Earth. He also taught that the cosmic masters had intervened via the Aetherius Society to help humanity into the new age. King believed there would not be a catastrophic end to the world, but that the planet was on the verge of a new millennium of peace and enlightenment and the age of Aquarius. Some truth sprinkled in. Yes, there will be a new millennium, but it'll be the millennial reign of Christ, not this age of Aquarius. Okay, so now, are these alien beings, these entities, are they among us? In fact, are they already interbreeding with humans? Have the Nephilim returned? Have the fallen angels, whom I believe are these demonic forces communicating with people, have they somehow crossed dimensions, entered humanity, entered the earth, and began breeding with humans? Well, this gentleman right here, many of you have probably seen his face, know who he is, David Grush. He's a retired U.S. Air Force major, David Grush, and he's also a whistleblower. He claims Trump is fully aware of these alien hybrids living among us. I mean, look at it right there. But look what he says. Okay, this is what's crazy. The whistleblower also allegedly told members of Congress that Trump was even briefed during his first term about the existence of multiple alien races, and now one species has been crossbreeding with humans. I don't know what to think of that, you guys. I mean, this guy seems to be legit, right? I mean, he could be completely lying just to get clout. But if we look at the Bible, and if we look, this has happened before. Genesis 6. Check this out. Now it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. And we can also go to the book of Jude, okay, written by one of Jesus's half-brothers, an apostle. And he says, and the angels who did not stay within their own position of authority, but left their proper dwelling, he has kept in eternal chains under gloomy darkness until the judgment of the great day. Speaking of the fallen angels who came down, mingled with human beings to create the Nephilim. You can look at a lot of other sources. But the point is, when Jesus said it'll be like the days of Noah, I believe this is all mirroring, right? We're headed towards something, a major deception, and perhaps even the Nephilim are here to try to take over the world again like they did in the antediluvian period. What do you guys think? This is absolutely crazy stuff, but I wanted to share it with you. And just a final note, like, my friends, again, if you have not given your life to Christ, now is the time. Because when this all starts unfolding, it's going to be too late. You're not only going to miss a great and wonderful, fulfilling life right now, but eternal life in the presence of God. Do you want to miss out on that? I don't think you do. Why would you? I mean, there are people that would be happily be outside the presence of God. At least they say that now. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. If you enjoyed the content, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, share, comment below. Let's keep the conversation going. What do you guys think? Is this Disclosure Day movie part of the deception? Is it part of Project Bluebeam? Is it part of the government's efforts to deceive the culture by feeding them information, feeding them false information, so that when the time comes, people will be completely deceived? I don't know. Let me know. Talk to you guys later. Take care, and God bless.